Hello and welcome to this episode of Soul Vibes. As your guides for today, I am Shalima.
And I am Himanshu.
Sant Nirankari.
As technology brings us together, it is also true that our lives have become far more hectic than ever before. The line between work life and personal life are often blurred. Shalimaji, this has been more evident after the pandemic with work from home.
So, appropriately, our topic today is why and how do we live our lives easy busy?
Those are two interesting and opposite words, Shalimaji. Easy and busy. I'm sure a lot of our listeners are wondering, how do we do both at the same time?
Indeed, Himanshuji. Those words were given to us by Satguru Baba Hardev Singh Ji Maharaj. He said in the context of our spiritual progress, we must live easy busy. Those simple words have profound impact. I believe Babaji was pointing us to balance our daily duties with a sense of light-hearted joy, ease and purpose. I'm an entrepreneur and a mother.
Right.
My life is busy planning events for my company and for my family. I find that the only way to get through my to-do list is to focus on the meaningful and big things first.
That's interesting. Many of us lead our lives super busy, running helter-skelter. But if you think about it, there really is no point running with great speed in the wrong direction. So, do the right things even if it means doing few things.
Exactly. So today, to talk more on the topic of easy busy, we have a diverse panel of speakers from Singapore. The panel comprises of young working mothers, corporate executives, and entrepreneurs. What they all have in common is that they connect with this vast, formless, omnipresent God Nirankar and tap into it for peace, calm, and inspiration.
Nice.
First, we'd like to invite Piyush Batraji, who's a caring father and a corporate executive.
Welcome, Piyushji.
Sant Nirankari. Hi everyone, I have a 6-year-old daughter. Whenever I see her playing with her friends, I notice that they're having so much fun. Singing, dancing, painting, laughing at the simplest of things. Looking at all this begs the question, what happened to us when we grow up? When did our lives get so serious? At what stage we stopped enjoying simplest of pleasures that life has to offer? I guess for most of us, it started in our professional lives when the perception of quote-unquote be serious in life took over. It's not that we have stopped having fun altogether, but now we make plans for having fun. We book that luxurious holiday, we invite friends over for dinner, we plan and schedule time to have fun. But we forget that in life, the journey is more important than the destination itself. Idea is not to plan for making life easy, but living life easily. Let me tell you why. Pleasure and fun are experiences of thought and feeling, mind and emotion, a state of consciousness. We often confuse this with material possessions or wealth. For example, believing the fact that buying a bigger house will make one happier or a faster car will be more pleasurable than the current one. It is this false belief system that makes us chase a bigger role, promotion, and hence bigger payouts. We are led to believe that costlier phone, things are the reason that we have come to this world. And in the end, it is so ironical that these material possessions which we own end up owning us and our peace.
Oh, that's a powerful thought. Our possessions end up owning us. So how do we avoid that trap?
So Shalimaji, personally, whenever I get entangled in any doubt, including the one when I get sucked into the stress of professional life, I always rely on 5 pledges of our mission. To give some background to our listeners, while being blessed with Nirankar or God knowledge, we take 5 noble pledges. And if I have to explain first pledge, which says that one is required to accept wholeheartedly that one's mind, body, and wealth belong to God, and indeed are gifts from God. In order to guard against these things becoming a source of greed or false pride, one should accept them as a mere trustee and to pledge to use these gifts for the betterment of mankind. So, the idea of remaining joyful is given by Sadguru in the first pledge itself. If I am conscious to realize that all these worldly possessions is not even mine, why am I stressing so much about it that I have forgotten to live life every moment that my 6-year-old does so easily? Now it might seem that remaining conscious of the divine will 100% of the time is not easy because there are obviously a lot of distractions around us. But Satguru Mataji has reminded us that it is easier if you are in spiritual union with God or Nirankar. Mataji says, the feeling of being connected with Nirankar is as effortless, as easy as blinking of our eyes. Think of Nirankar as your best friend who is with you all the time. And we all are aware that how much fun we have when we are around our friends. We share all our joy, sorrow, win, loss with our friends, and they keep a hand on our shoulder for every emotion we feel. Nirankar is that friend who is keeping his hand on our shoulders and asking us to live easy, busy.
Wonderful thoughts, Piyush ji. Thank you so much for sharing them.
Thanks everyone. Dhan Nirankar ji.
Indeed, when we think of God Nirankar as our friend, we can hand over all our worries to Him and live carefree. We can focus 100% on the effort and leave the outcome to God.
Indeed. I really connected with your thoughts, Piyushi, on learning to live carefree from young children and bringing in effortlessness into our life. I am reminded of a time some years ago when a lot of stress had built up for me personally when I was working for a large IT company in a regional role. We were making some changes that were being resisted by the other teams. And Shalimaji, hard lines were being drawn by both sides. Then I heard Babaji's words, easy, busy. And instantly, I realized that I was over-efforting. I realized that I was putting in too much emotional energy. And my ego was so over-invested that I needed to win all arguments. So when I realized that, I began to ease up. And I became a better listener. And you won't believe it, but the whole environment began to change. People who were opposed to me began to lighten up too. And then all of a sudden there was a flow of trust and creativity, and we began to find solutions. So that's how Easy Busy had a direct impact on my own life.
Wow, thanks for sharing, Himanshu ji. Our next panelist is Shivanjali ji. She's a dentist, a mental health therapist, and a special needs educator. Welcome, Shivanjali ji.
Dhan Nirankar ji. I also related to what Piyush ji said. Whenever I observe my 8-year-old daughter Ananya, I wonder where my simplicity and innocence vanished. Mata Savinder Hardev ji Maharaj asked us to be like a lighthouse, which always guides others and symbolizes strength and resilience. It reminds us that regardless of how turbulent our emotional seas may become, all we need to do is be calm and focus on the guiding light within.
Oh, so you mean become easy busy?
Hanji Shalimaji, Ananya teaches me to be easy busy. Let me share how. For the listeners, Ananya is a special needs child with Down syndrome. The mother in me worries about her delayed milestone. Knowing unknowingly, I keep comparing her with kids her age. The doctor in me imagines all kinds of medical issues she might have to face. While I'm busy worrying whether she will find love, get married, be financially independent, Ananya is busy distributing smiles, laughter, and hugs, living in the present. Exactly. Every morning my anxiety levels are high as we are waiting for the elevator because Ananya is getting late for school. That's my man ki avastha. Ananya, however, is easy busy, wishing each one good morning and goodbye every single day without fail, regardless of whether they wish her back. I learn to let go of my ego and live effortlessly. She teaches me unjudgmental acceptance. Himanshu-ji, have you ever noticed anxiety, stress, worry, fear are just thoughts or emotions? If you notice, we usually keep playing out worst-case scenarios in our mind, though they might not really actualize. It could be the hurt from the past or the uncertainty of the future. I learned the 3 A's from my Ananya: awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance. As we cultivate moment-to-moment awareness, we notice that each thought is just a story that we are telling ourselves, and it is not a prediction of the future. More importantly, awareness of who we are and what we are here for. We are spiritual beings having human experiences and not human beings having spiritual experiences. As we learn to acknowledge our thoughts, we immediately change the focus from the past or the future to the present, here and now. We create a space where thoughts pass by like a cloud. For example, when Ananya senses tension at home, she will immediately come, give a hug and say, "It's okay, don't give up," bringing us to the present, now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Thank you. The next thing I would like to talk about is taking a pause. When stress and anxiety rushes through us, we instinctively panic, run away, or go in a denial mode.
Right.
Taking a pause and reflecting, doing Simran, helps me break that pattern. For me, Simran is simply God remembrance. The moment I bring my attention to God Almighty Nirankar, this recurring negative thought pattern stops and peace sets in. Sometimes this gap between the reaction and a response just seems invisible or non-existent. But with constant awareness and practice, we definitely can reach a stage of equipoise. A state where one doesn't repress unpleasant thoughts, nor does one get overly excited trying to prolong a happy experience. Once this state is achieved, we will have an equal attitude towards friends and strangers, just like Ananya, leading to endless love and universal brotherhood. Thank you, Sant Nirankari.
Beautiful thoughts, Shivanjali ji. You know the point you made about equanimity? That it's the key to opening the door to joyful living? That's so true. When we are in a state of equanimity, we don't sweat the small stuff. We are neither too attached and nor too detached. As the Bhagavad Gita says, focus on the action and not the fruits. We take the right action and accept with gratitude the outcome, positive or negative. What do you think, Himanshu-ji?
No, absolutely. And that allows us to replace stress with joyous action. Then, whether that's work or family responsibilities, life becomes fun again. And I think God wants us to be light like children and have fun.
That's so true. We've all heard this story as children. The story of the tortoise and rabbit. The rabbit went from extremely busy to extremely easy and lost sight of his goal. He lost the race.
And the tortoise?
The tortoise kept on going even though he saw the rabbit run off in the distance. He didn't give up. He just kept calm attention on completing the race, the action. So he showed how easy busy can help us meet our goals, isn't it?
It's amazing how these children's stories always apply to real life, even when we grow up. All right, our next panelist is also another young working mother and an entrepreneur in the IT field. Neelam Aryaji.
Welcome, Neelam ji.
Nirankari ji, thanks for having me here. Listening to Shivanjali ji, I was reminded of the time when I became a mother just a few years ago. Within the first few months, I felt I had gone crazy. I was like, oh my god, what has happened? There is a baby, office, home and family to manage. I needed to recover well physically, and on top of all these duties, the toughest part was there wasn't a me time, no fun time. 24/7, it seems like I'm busier than ever before. These thoughts were making me crazy every single day until I heard Satguru Mata Sudikhsha ji's quote. We should have equanimity in our outlook towards all, contributing positively for the welfare of all. I realized then that I needed to manage my emotional status well. Well, I started an exercise to keep my emotions up and let all negativity drain off in this formless God, Nirankar. I made a point that whatever may happen, I will stay in a high emotional status. So that meant I worked to always keep myself in a state of joy, happiness, freedom, love, passion, and positive belief. It wasn't easy at first, but with Simran and faith in this Nirankar, it became easier and easier with the time to focus on the half full glass rather than the half empty. You know, my brother is a soldier. A soldier's life is full of sacrifices and hardships. It's a profession where rules, regulations, and protocols always come first. Yes, soldiers stay calm and readily fight for the nation with a fearless attitude. Whenever I felt down, my brother would say, "Stay chill. By controlling your emotions and ignoring all negativity, you'll never lose any battle." I feel this is the key, to go from busy to easy busy. We have to inhibit all our negative thoughts. With the positive thoughts and attitude, we have ample amount of time to plan our materialistic goals with an equilibrium in our blissful spiritual life Almighty has blessed us. Then living becomes like a magic that dwells in our world, despite the external forces and psychological habits that continuously steer us toward negativity and Maya. Applying this key of staying always positive turned my life to easy busy. I finally recognized that old me wasn't busy. In fact, I realized that I was less positive and less balanced. And today, here I am, a working mother, fulfilling worldly duties, pursuing hobbies, having fun time, etc., etc. I'm not hesitant to say that time is breathing with me. I'm in sync with the rhythm of life. In our life, we have n number of tasks to do, and we are highly occupied in accomplishments of these tasks and to set new targets. It's fine to add n number of roles and responsibilities in our life. While this is important, it's more important to keep God along. If we do so, whole equation of life stay in equilibrium and automatically things start happening without any stress, anxiety or so, as if they are effortless. Effortless living then is a willingness to embrace the flow experience while setting aside all negativity, unfolding of our life in a way that moves us toward Nirankar, wholeness and harmony. One key of staying in positive outlook has brought spring in my life throughout the year. Or I should say, my life has become a cherry blossom.
Very well said, Neelam ji.
Thank you so much, Ji. Nirankari ji.
When we are stressing, we just need to plug into the endless source of light and energy, God Formless. One of the routines I follow is to set an hourly alarm, Himanshu ji. That reminds me to connect with Nirankar, God Formless, through Simran.
Directly and unburden and recharge just like a USB charger plugs in.
Yes, exactly, Himanshu ji. You know, I'm reminded of the gifted music composer A.R. Rahman. His quote, he said, "A song has to come to you like a breeze." In South India, we talk of a breeze that blows through the leaves of the coconut tree. It has a natural feel and makes the leaves rustle gently. It isn't the same thing if you shake the tree violently.
I think that's a great point. And I think our Satguru is pointing us to the same kind of ease and effortlessness. When we stop forcing things too much or too early, when we put aside our ego and we put aside a sense of competition, and when we put our faith in God, then we allow God's will to flow through us like the breeze that rustles the leaves of the trees. And then we allow our true purpose and potential to unfold.
That's so true. Our final panelist today is a successful corporate executive, Prafulji.
Welcome, Prafulji.
Sant Nirankari. Soul Vibes. What a beautiful name. The name gives a sense of relief, just like when water from a fountain splashes us in the burning heat of a scorching afternoon. Listening to the speakers before, I feel if we turn on the easy-busy mode within us, we will reduce the stress in our busy lives. It will have the same cooling effect as the water from that fountain. As you know, just like millions of people around the globe, my life is filled with a to-do list, both professional and personal. When I joined my corporate life in 2006, I recall being very dedicated to work and ambitious at the same time. It didn't take long for me to understand the tricks of the trade to climb that corporate ladder. Soon the usual behavioral patterns started to emerge, such as making sure I was visible to various stakeholders, showcasing how I am a step ahead of everyone else. I still remember the conversations with my wife that I used to have after I would hear about a promotion of some colleague, or when a new job was opened that was ranked higher. I used to come back home lost in thoughts, wishing that job was mine or that promotion was mine. Was I not successful? Yes, I was. I was very fortunate to receive my share of promotions and assignments that took me to different countries. But with each rise, the pressure and burden to keep up the game increased. It was relentless, and frankly, after a while, it was tiring. This continued up until 2014. Then something changed. As my anxious behavior was growing, I needed a place to drive more positivity in my thoughts. I found the answer in the teachings of Sant Nirankari mission. My behavior and outlook to life began to change. I became significantly calmer, less anxious. I began to cherish and appreciate what I had rather than blindly chase what I didn't. This brought back joy once again in my work as well as my personal life.
So, Prafulji, I'm really sure our listeners would love to know, how did that happen?
Well, Himanshuji, as I attended Sangats, as you know, which are the spiritual congregations of our mission, I began to realize that the biggest cause of anxiety and stress at work was my ego. It was my ego that was causing constant need to be recognized for my efforts. When I felt that my efforts were overlooked, it was my ego that would cause me pain and nervousness. I also realized that another source of my anxiety was this desire to show I was more productive than others. This was causing me to then indulge in the usual corporate politics and gossip. Satguru Mata Sudikhsha ji emphasizes on the importance of knowing that whatever we are doing is basically the will of Nirankar, God the Almighty. We are just the means. Mataji also teaches us about start things right. She gives a great example that when we are putting on a shirt, if we do the first button wrong, then everything that follows will be wrong. That's what is important to keep in mind while doing every task. Making sure that we do it with the mindset that this task is basically God's will. And while doing so, are our intentions right? It's not easy to get these concepts implemented in our life, but with repeated practice and positive experiences shared by saints during Sangat, we can get better and better. The ego starts to mellow down, and so does the need for striving for recognition. The anxiety starts to melt away. We even get more productive. Our busy life then becomes easy and we find joy in everything we do. Let's pray that Nirankar and Satguru Mataji bless us all to be on this right path. Sant Nirankari.
Wonderful thoughts, Prafulji. As you said very nicely, Satguru Mata Sudikhsha ji has been teaching us that if we get the first button of the shirt right, the rest follows quickly and perfectly. So putting the first steps right are so important. She has been constantly teaching us to eliminate gossip and white lies. If we can do that, we will not tie ourselves up in knots. So the key to leading easy busy life is to lead a straight and transparent life.
Oh, absolutely. A thought just crossed my mind. We take 5 pledges in our mission, and the 4th pledge is to find God while also living out our domestic lives. And I think easy busy is the key to that. Because if we swing too much one side and become too busy, we'll never make time for God. And if we swing the other way and become too easy, then we'll find nothing. So I think the mid path, easy busy, is the key to finding God and also living out a fun domestic life.
That's so true. We thank all our speakers today, and we thank our listeners for being here with us. Have a great and a wonderful life living joyfully and effortlessly. Sant Nirankari.